So today we're gonna get back into oxygen not included. I do know at the end of last stream I was like, I think today was gonna be a different day. Um, I kind of want to get one of these games that we've been playing to like start wrapping it. I think we got probably 2, maybe 3 streams left of Raft. Oxygen not included. I'm not sure how many more streams. I've started to watch the viewership dipping a little bit. It's not been bad. It's still been decent, but dipping a little bit on the oxygen not included. We did take a lot of. We took I think 3 deaths in the last stream after like 2 or 3 streams with no deaths. And that's been due to the fact that the oil planet, the temperature was starting to build up, and I was nervous about taking. I've got an extremely cold petroleum line. I'm like, okay, I can run this through my base and almost immediately fix my problem. I have to like reroute a whole bunch of pipes, which is part of the thing is I'm being lazy and I don't want to reroute everything. But if I do it, I'm gonna have the reverse problem. I'm gonna make my base too cold, and so I was like trying to do like a half step, and the half step just was not adequate. So what ended up happening is the plants kept being overheated, and then they ran out of food and they starved to death. So that's what the things we're going into. We have had some air problems on the main base because of power being down for a long time because of the natural gas being offline. I'm trying to fix that. We are also trying to make a more sustainable air production thing. All right, let me move game. So I'm gonna pause and unpause. So, okay. And that's just so it resets all the things that are going here. Oh yeah, there's a speck of, I think it was water froze. Yeah, so we've got this system just about built. I can't remember if this is online yet. Is this online? Did we turn that online? We did. But yeah, so the idea here, this is going to be our sustained stuff. That we fill this room with polluted oxygen. It freezes down into liquid. Well, condensates down to liquid. And when it gets cold enough, and when that happens, the pump turns on. The pump pumps that down into these reservoirs here. And if the air pressure is not too high down here, it'll pump some of the liquid oxygen in this space. I actually expect to have pressure problems dropping the liquid oxygen in there. But, you know, that's just going to be a thing I deal with. But last time, this was cooling it down, but nowhere near adequate for me. And so we did bring the other one online, but I need more solar panels to run it. So we're working on that. But that's one way we're going to help with our air problem. The other thing we did is we switched the natural gas up here to petroleum to try and help that problem. The issue is now that my oil base is having issues. We've got that issue. And that's the reason why the air inside here is all terrible, is this power is super inconsistent. Actually, here, I should be setting that to disable. Actually, we can put that down to 0% and leave it on. It should only kick on if that hits 0, which shouldn't happen. And that's because these were turning on and off way too much. Yeah, and Darshar saying, open the old pocket. Yeah, this fall's gonna be some. Well, that's weird. That's fine, whatever. But so that way we can start clearing out our polluted oxygen, which is overwhelming. We do have both volcanoes are tame. We have a third one down here I plan on taming next, but I want to get the systems we've got going on. I messed with this over here. Actually, I put down a gold heat plate, so it melted. And now this is too hot to deal with, so we're just ignoring it for a while, and we'll deal with that later. But now if we go to this planet, you can see all these are too hot. Like, that's what's happening, is they're just all too hot. It hasn't updated the atmosphere yet. The atmosphere is fine, but they're too hot. And that's because what ended up happening is I had this too thin before. It was just one insulation tile. If you look at this, this is hot. So you notice the base inside and out are very close to the same. I was basically producing a ridiculous amount of heat here. And I do have tons of cold I'm moving through here. And so the fixes that I need to do is take this petroleum line and get it up here. As long as it gets inside this area, it should start to bring it down. I was just super hesitant to do that. And the reason I was super hesitant to do that is the temperature of this most of the time is like negative 10, 15, 20 degrees. Until I started trying to cool down that. But it's taking a bunch of half steps to trying to fix our problem. And they weren't adequate. And the reason I haven't done more is because I gotta fight my way through all this, and I've been trying to avoid digging all this up, but I think we're just gonna have to accept that's a thing that's gonna have to happen. Hey, Bentley, how's it going? So that's gonna be the thing, is I'm gonna figure out how to route this. And I don't need to like route through the whole base. I don't want to go that far. I just want to kind of like route it down here or something, so it slowly goes off. But we did have all the colonists here died, and I have replaced one of them to try and finish building the pipes and all that. Because that was what this is. You see all these templates back here, and I made these radiant and that radiant. That was all half steps. You see the template here and the radiant here. I was trying to cool off the liquid because that liquid pumps throughout the base as well. So I was trying to bring the temperature of that liquid down. You can see it was not successful. It's still 100-some degrees up there. So we're just trying to do that. Oh, we're also insulating the scalding hot oil that's going through the base as well. But, so he's probably going to starve to death because I don't have any food. And in our third base, this one's been mostly stable. Like, I've been not really working on anything here in any meaningful capacity because I've been busy putting out fires at the other locations. But the plan is to get down this cold area and do something with it. Oh, good. I've had them continuously adding more water, and it's now filling up this corridor. You can see it just dripping down water there. It's fine. Actually, let's try not to cut the sand. Because I keep getting more pips, I can put that to use. Alright. So, Combustio is the most urgent issue, because there's literally no food. But we're doing what we can. That's what Ren here is doing. Is trying to build the insulated pipe to cool off, or to reduce the amount of heat seeping into this area from the hot pipes that are going through the base. That's something I should have done before, and I just failed to notice it. Because this is the petroleum line, which is now empty, so it doesn't really help. And the big problem with that is that's going to shut down the petroleum in our base. But I need this space to cool off. We have turned off all oxygen production inside the area. Just another thing I'm doing to try and counteract the overheating is... Oh, let me pause, because it looks like we may have lost internet. Don't do this. Alright, bear with me, we're having technical difficulties, I'll be right back. Okay, hopefully that comes back here in a second. Here's hoping, just trying to refresh the moderator computer, make sure we're back up. Okay. Oh, apparently... Okay, I think we're back. Cool. Apparently, like, Twitch crashed entirely. It wasn't just my stream. It's just, like, I saw, like, that computer lock up. I had, like, Discord went down and all that. But yeah, no, it was, here's the whole thing. So, should be back. Refresh if you don't see it. Okay. So we're going to give that just a second before we get back into it. So I do apologize to the people on YouTube. I don't take the time to edit these down because it requires me to re-encode it, which takes hours and hours and hours and hours. Sorry. If Twitch would back off on its exclusivity thing, I would just stream to both platforms. And it would make my life way easier. So hopefully that gets sorted out. And... just waiting to see someone in chat be like, "Yep, we're good," making sure we're good because we should be good. I have it on my moderator computer. I just need to make sure the audio's not scuffing everything. So just trying to get that verification real fast, and then we'll get back into it. And I understand why Twitch does have that exclusivity nonsense. Um, the exclusivity nonsense is that basically you cannot simultaneously stream to YouTube and Twitch. I can go like in a day I could stream on both, just not at the same moment. And that's because if they allowed that, everyone who's scared to death of half the Twitch policies that are anti-creator and all that kind of stuff going on, we would simultaneously stream to every single platform we can. That way, if one of those platforms decides to be a big old jerk, we just go to the other platform. No problem. So they have nothing to but to lose that. That said, it still sucks and it's still anti-creator. Are we good? Is chat good? Can I get any kind of feedback whatsoever? I asked in chat. I assume things are working. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I got verification before I went back into it. Cool. Thank you. Sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure everything was working. I saw that it went down almost instantly, so you didn't lose any time. I paused the game the moment I saw the internet hiccup kind of thing. All right. So yeah, so we have this person Ren here is building. I don't have a source of food here at all until the temperature's sorted. So Ren's just gonna try their best, and then I'm gonna teleport him out when he starts starving, and I'll teleport him back, and he's just gonna do what he can. We're gonna get this insulated pipe here first, because that'll be one thing. The problem is the petroleum's gonna shut down here, unless I can get Ren working on that too. Alright, so temperature is dropping with that. Not fast enough, though. Which is going to make our oxygen problems terrible on the other side again. Alright, stress is near maxed out. What is the problem? Illicit super upset. Oh, she is mourning another duplicant who died, which had been one of the 3 duplicants on the other side. And she's upset by her own face being upset. Why did you sleep on the floor? You have beds everywhere. Alright. I have an automation line set up for you, right? Yeah? I guess they're trying to get to 100%, it's not quite getting there. Turn them both on again. Maybe Dupe is just very tired. Well, there is, was it narcolepsy? There is, one of the traits you get where they just literally will walk around and they'll collapse. What are you eating? Oh, you found meat from, one of the animals. It's probably one of the Pakus. Or one of the other things we killed there. Yeah, so just ignore the dead bodies. They're fine. They're just living their best life-ish. Alright, so temperature needs to come down a lot. Yes, it's up here that all the hot air is. The rest of this is not that bad. It's just up here. Which is another reason why I'm like, oh, one thing we could probably do is get rid of this one. So that's 1.25. What is the other battery? What does the smart battery put off? Significantly less. So let's go ahead and get rid of that one. Random floor meat, that's the worst. What's the worst could happen? I mean, half, like, we literally, if we put on the germ thing, oh, it's actually not that bad. Normally, it's like this. It's like, hey, that's what they're dealing with right now. I want them to take apart this battery because it puts off a bunch of heat. And we're gonna go ahead and switch that battery over to that one. Because that should help a little bit in reducing the amount of heat I produce within here. More than likely down the road I'm gonna need to switch it. Alright, are you working up here? Okay. Alright, so that's bringing down the temperature of the oxygen really, really rapidly, which is the plan. Okay. I'm assuming that brine ice should warm up again sitting there. Because it won't do me any good if these things overheat because the ice isn't transferring any heat there. If that doesn't work, we'll do something like, I mean, it might even be fine that what'll end up happening is we'll just be able to sort that. Yeah, so I believe it's around minus 300 degrees Fahrenheit. All of this polluted oxygen is going to start turning into liquid oxygen. We pump it down here, and we pump it back in here. This is where it drops off, and the reason I only have it go that far is it'll very quickly warm up, and if I don't get it out of the system as fast as I can kind of thing, it'll warm up, and it will turn back into vapor inside the pipe, which would be a problem. It can even be a thing if it does end up being a problem, is I can put like a little room here to deliberately have it, you know, drop into the room, turn back into a gas state, and then pump it onto the next spot. I don't want to have to add that extra step, but if I have to, I have to. Okay, and the pressure is getting much better here. Alright, so I still have quite a bit of petroleum in the line, but as you can see, I'm not getting more. So that's going to be a problem. Hey, Butte, how's it going? Alright, so the insulated pipe is coming along. Alright. This should also help because I'm not running the oil refinery, which puts out a bunch of heat. We have just one dupe here. Going highly encumbered by life. Put it back. Gotcha. Yeah. Life can be that way. Yeah, there's more corpses that need to be dealt with. Interesting you're choosing that bed, but I mean, I guess you do you, man. Forgot that those beds are even over there. Alright. I wonder why it said Rongor had polluted lung. I clicked on it, it took me here. Because Rongor isn't here. Nor does this place really have polluted oxygen. I still don't know where it keeps going. The did-it-in. I still don't know what that symbol even, that sound even means. I just hear it every once in a while. I'm like, what? Still way too hot. You're gonna have to do way more, man. Because that heat just does not carry. This is becoming way less dark blue, which is concerning as well, because this was super dark blue before. What's going on? You have no power. What was your power source? You were on the petroleum line, let me guess. Yep, you're on the petroleum line, and because I'm not making petroleum, now our cooling is turned off. Alright, next chance we get a dupe, we need to, get a dupe to be an operator on this one. So that way they can run the petroleum, which is a generation of heat. The good news is this whole area down here, for the most part, is starting to cool off. Like, this is actually doing still okay. It's not going to stay that way forever, though. Alright. Okay, so I think this is all set up. I want to see when the sun goes down, how long those batteries last. I just want to make sure it's still working reliably up here. Because if it keeps turning off, that does me no good. Alright, so we got another volcano down here to work with. Kind of same plan as these ones. Alright, so we'll just go... Now be where we go across to put on the 2 steam engines. They won't be able to reach most of it yet, so I won't worry about too much. I'll put a battery up there. Let's plan for this in advance. We'll put a power there. And a manual airlock here. You'll add 1 tile above it. Let's go ahead and insulate it temperature-wise. Wait, are these still ceramic? No, they're not. That's a problem. Alright. Because it won't be able to handle the heat. Are you still ceramic? You are. Okay. I'm out of ceramic. Obsidian will also work. Okay, we'll just go here. We can go ahead and unpause. You're still on obsidian. Cool. Go here to the power block. Put that back since I accidentally deleted it. Alright. Alright, come on, let me build. Okay, so step 1 is to get all of this built. We'll just go ahead and make a bridge straight across. That should give them access to build most, if not everything. Alright, so let's start by going over here to you. You're the one who needs people the most. So you have glass. So I don't need piloting, but I will want our agriculture here. So the problem is I don't really have much in the way of food, so we need to go on here, first of all, to you. There you are. Research, operating, and farming. Factory farming gets double. and make those our priorities. You will be disincentivized to build, because that's already what the art character is amazing at. And you'll be disincentivized from farming. We'll go to the schedules. So you're in Combusto. You can go ahead and this shift, so you're not trying to split that. And skills, we're going to go to you. You're going to get better at farming. So my hope is that that character will take over a great deal with the operating right now. So we can get the petroleum back online before everything dies. They seem to be focusing on the hauling right now. Disable that building. Stop using that one. If you're gonna make oxygen, don't make the polluted oxygen thing. Disable auto bottle. Actually, disable that building. Enable auto bottle so we can start slowly moving this where it needs to go. Okay, we're at least starting to bury the bodies of the dead. Okay. Alright, we need to increase that priority. Go to priorities. For you... setting toggling super high so they stop maintaining systems that they're just going to toggle off ultimately. There we go. Because rather they pull the water from here. Yep, that's fine. Alright. You're taking that bottle of water. Oh, that's fair. It looks like the one is just busy tidying, which is interesting that they're choosing to tidy even though I have operating at the same thing, and I believe it goes left to right. I'm still okay with it, they're still getting stuff. Oh! Oh, okay, you have to. I see the problem. Because the petroleum power is down and it's not powering the batteries to make the petroleum, I can't do it, which is the reason I have this wheel here, was just in case the system went offline. They'd be able to go over here. Oh, please tell me I didn't grab someone who is anemic. No. Why are you running slow then? Oh, but you just have very, very low athletics and you're putting on a suit. That's right. That just means now they'll be able to run in the wheel to power this stuff that someone can make a little bit of petroleum. And once they get that first, like, burst or two of petroleum through, it should be good from there. Alright. You can have food as well. Why is your food suddenly so dire? You don't have any new or additional people, and nothing about your farm has changed. So you are getting enough water now. I believe I already have a pipe running through there. Yeah, they've got enough water now that we should be able to go up here and uproot the mealworm, and start switching it up to something that gives us a bit better throughput on the food. Oh, you know, I bet's happening. I bet you're putting snow in here. Yep. Okay. So you pop for just a second. I just realized I don't have another thing to plan here. So we'll just put it back, I guess. If I got some Paku here, I could put the seed thing and start putting on mealworm to use. Alright, come on. So I don't think that's going to be able to do that much. I'm going to have the other dupe also operating, because just that wheel isn't enough to run all the buildings. But I also need that to run because the air pressure problems down here. You're getting ready to go dormant. Okay, that'll be able to go dormant soon. How are you trapped? What did you do? You're not trapped, though. You can literally go down this way. It's 2, then 2, then 2, then 1, 1. You take the ladder up. Ah, you are trapped because we got rid of that stuff. Well, apparently... How did you get there? So you should be able to get... No, you won't be able to get air. Oh, come on. Build the wall from the left side? Well, right. Like, the whole thing is this isn't an inaccessible area. I'm just gonna leave that alone, let them finish this ladder, and then we can worry about it. It's just the order of operations was the problem she did it. Oh, that door could stay open, because I'm not draining that quite yet. Okay. Alright, Ren. I'm gonna have to intervene with you for just a moment. Priorities. Hey, Ren, buddy. For just a little bit here, you're gonna focus on operating. The reason I'm having you do that is that way hopefully you can both get down here at the same time to kick the petroleum on. Because once the petroleum's kicked on at all, it'll start passing it through this system, this will keep it running by itself, and no one will have to run in the wheel anymore. Alright, I need you to keep running that wheel, Harold. Just a little longer, buddy. You can do it. Alright, how much is on that thing? What could I turn off? So you've got this. That isn't running down there. this. So for the moment, we've turned that one off. I'm going to turn that one off right now. So hopefully you can get some battery charge in here. And then maybe that'll work. That's what we could do. So priorities. Where did you go, Ren? Do that. Because we take most of the stuff off that needs power, that should help. And then this someday I need to actually wire in here. We still haven't. Lower its priority. Surprising I still have natural gas to work with. Okay. All right. Yeah, Otto's putting materials in place. Melissa and Z does most of the building. The atmosphere is actually looking okay in here. It's not where we want it yet, but we're getting there. How's this going? We getting liquid yet? Getting close to liquid. It's 300 is liquid. And we're getting about the 250s. I figured it was going to be slow. As long as it's not ridiculously slow, it should over time. Alright, that'll be free air falling from the sky. Alright. The next time I get the one that's willing to give me the bristle whatever fruit or whatever it is, we want to get that so I can start replacing the meal wood here. Get ourselves better. Sorry, getting ourselves some better options so far as our liquids and all that go, or food options, that is. Okay. Got little bugs getting their uranium. We got the gold volcano over there. I've got a saltwater geyser here, but the saltwater that comes out there is very hot, which is disappointing. I like the really cold geysers because they're just really easy to make heat sinks. I am going to have a cooling system here of some kind. Surprised they're not starving yet. Because we've had no new food here and they're still not starving, which, again, surprising, not against it, but surprising. There we go. Hey, Harold. Time to go visit the other colony, buddy. Where is Harold? Go get yourself some food, buddy. Okay, well that's not what you want. Hey. One E's gotta die, because I need to eat. Is there a critter here that I care about less than the others? You. You're inconvenient. You're not where there's a wire exposed that you can easily help. Let's go to your priorities. And kill it. All right. Okay, so they shouldn't be able to cause themselves problems now. So insulated tile, ceramic. Okay. Yeah, they can't reach it until they build that ladder, so it's kind of a non-issue at this point. You can go ahead and mine that entire area out from below and there. You mine those two tiles, and those two tiles, and those two tiles. Okay. I don't need a slick start and all that. Adding another person here would be a bad move. I don't get what is draining your charge here. So I need that to be sorted pretty soon. Alright, Harold, it's time for you to go back, buddy. Alright. Trying to think of what else, because you're already turned off. These do bleed some power. Yeah, well, I mean, it's per cycle. That takes a long time. Oh, that's a Warren suit? Is that what's happening? Yeah, it's a Warren suit, so Harold's taking it back. Do you have a spare? Yeah, so I have a spare not Warren suit here as well. Because that's what you have going on is the main colony repairs the suits, and then this one just imports them, exports them as they get worn. Yeah, so we're filtering out all our different air types, that's fine. Okay. How are we doing temperature-wise? It's not getting better, is how we're doing. Well, actually, I mean, that is lower down there. This seems like it's hotter, but this is lower. It was at 96. So what is kicking on that is eating that power? So that's turned off. Well no, that's turned off too. It's this down here. Alright, for just a minute, we're just gonna go here and we're gonna go to our electric grid. There. That way we can get some power to get this petroleum production going. I forgot this is on the system. So like right now that could just sit there and do nothing for the time being. I'm genuinely surprised it's still staying that cold. My only guess is I cooled off this area enough. It's cooling off in this area. Alright. Harold, I'm ready to be done with the wheel, buddy. Listen, just a little petroleum kicks that on, and then it should be self-sustaining after that point. And we have liquid oxygen. Alright, so I might need more power storage up here. I'm hoping I won't. Because if I do need more power storage, don't tell me you're going to overheat. Why? Why won't you go ahead? Alright, hang on. Put a little bit more brine there. Enable that building. Like it's not hot enough that like the heat's not getting back into the liquid. So like this battery's doing totally fine because there's the tiniest bit of liquid there. But because this froze, it's not helping. There we go. Bring that temperature down, buddy. Go ahead and disable that building again and take brine back off the list. Alright, so turn back into regular oxygen because it got just warm enough. We'll get there. Because I have this set... Yeah, so like it's... I want it to be a decent cushion temperature-wise. Alright, so got that going. Oh, there we go. Why is the petroleum not going where it's supposed to be? Why are you not going where it's supposed to go? Okay, that's disabled by automation. Why is your automation disabling you? Oh, there we go. It just had to hit 0. Alright. So that system's back online. So then the question is, do I hook this back up or not? I do want to. Because we use this to power all that. And you need to keep having that bring the temperature down as best we can. Right, this temperature in this room is still continuously going down. Alright, and the temperature of the... Oh, that's still going up. The temperature of the liquid here is coming down a little bit. Ultimately, you're going up or down. You appear to be going up, but not at a particularly great speed. We're pumping new oil into the system, so that's fine. Alright. Hey, how's it going, Alpin? Alright, so it does look like I'm going to need more batteries. Everyone died in the oil plant? Yeah, that happened last stream. Basically the issue is it's overheated, and I'm trying to fix that problem now, and so I brought more people in to do it. But because of that, like, the food is going, like, they're just starting to starve kind of thing. Was I one of them? That is an excellent question. No, you're probably never gonna die because you are locked inside the main building, like this main building here, of the main base. So you're probably the one in the safest position of anyone in the entire colony. Alright. Just everyone's idle. Oh, I need to do all that. You know what, that's fine. Why are so many idle? We have the spacesuits. Oh, because all the petroleum is going offline. That. Wow, I'll outlive all of you. Alright. Well, that's lovely. No oxygen map. I don't really want to run. I don't really understand why so many people are idle. Like Alvin ends up idle when there's not enough food available to cook. Oh, there we go. It's cooled off enough that that one plant seems to have recovered. That's progress. Teeny tiny itty bitty amounts of progress. And it's starting to cool off again. It's this quarter up here. So what I probably need to do, like I said, is I need to find a way to get this up here. So what line are you? What are you shipping? You're shipping the polluted water. If you're shipping the polluted water, we can reroute you. Right now you go out this way and you come back in just to go up here. Yeah, so let's reroute you. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this pipe. And bring it up here. Bring it over there. Liquid bridge. Pop it up there. Have to dig into this a little to make this work. Let's see. Why does work at a treadmill when no feed is right for cooking? Yeah, you do run in the wheel quite a bit. I think the wheel's actually turned off inside the base remote, but we probably will have to turn it on. No one gets a free ride in the colony. Cool, it is still filling up. Making progress. That'll have to be turned back on soon, and that's gonna be a pain. So that thing's gone dormant finally. So I should also be able to go and say, start pumping the air again. Yeah, so basically what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to connect these, this pipe the whole way through here. The reason I want to do that is once that's removed, this is the route it's currently taking. I can get rid of this whole route here. Like, because this all just becomes stuff I don't need. And once I've done that, then I can potentially extend the petroleum line. At least as far as up here. You know, getting it closer to here. It's going to be really difficult to get that petroleum line through this mess of pipes. But the goal is I'm trying to cool off as much of this area up here to try and bring some of that cooling up to the top. Those are going to take them forever. Just a wee bit circuitous. Yeah. Yeah, not just because the whole, like, you build something, and then you adapt, and then you adapt, and then you adapt, and after a while it looks nothing like what you started with. Such as the berries. But that's still food. That'll be good for now. That'll give them a temporary food source. So you're getting plenty of natural gas into the system. And you see we're getting surplus over here. What about making going through the ice area on the left? Would it be too cold then? Well, the problem is it would melt the ice area, so it's a temp fix. So I'm trying to not mess with that too much. That's the reason why you look over here, I got the 2 Wheezeworts that I've kind of sequestered off as a cooling mechanism, because I could do that without jeopardizing the rest. But once this warms up, it's gone. And if this ice here melts, then these Weezewort go away with it. So it's not a terrible thing for us to do, and it maybe is like a temporary fix, but this does seem to be fixing because we had the one plant here, now I got 3 here. That's partially because these 2 Weezewort, I have water piping through here. Let's do it this way. I have water piping through here that's cold. Like it goes in at 90 and it comes out about 40. And it's finally starting to bring the temperatures down in here. So it's working, it's just taking its time. You get the 2 plants in there and make extra cooling air. So the problem is if I plant these plants, then they require a bunch of phosphorate to keep alive. So there's a very high consumption there. If I get a pip to plant it, which is what I did, was one of these was already here, and then I got the pip to plant the other one, then there's no cost. It could just sit there forever and it just does its thing. Now, if I get another pip, it might be worth me going down there, trying to trap the pip in with those, and just see if I can get it to plant more Weezewort in this room. Like, honestly, if I could get all of these Weezewort and just get the pips to plant it, because apparently you can plant it on the rock here. Like, if I can get rooms like that, that'd be good. You move so slowly. But you don't have... Like, the only one I know that causes you to walk that slowly is anemic. I mean, one thing is they have no athletic skill at all. And then the suit has a huge penalty. That's probably what it is. This character probably has some athletic skill. No? Okay. Check on you. Your calories aren't great. So that's salt. The one I don't want to actually dig up is sand. The reason I don't want to dig up the sand specifically is if I can keep the sand here, I can use that sand to have pips plant in it. The oxyfern and that kind of thing. Because while oxyfern isn't producing that much for us, it is producing some. And I am deliberately letting that water just fill this up. Yeah, the carbon dioxide is slowly melting. Alright. So your air is becoming a problem. Shouldn't we be getting more natural? So we're still not getting the petroleum through. And so this is all shut down. That's why I was like, I need to get this back online. So I need this person working way harder at getting this done, which is just not going to happen until they have the until they have higher operating skill. Alright. Home sweet home. Oh, get everyone's morale high enough? Eek. Unlock every item in the research tree and all that. So it's just a whole bunch of skills you can do with that. Duplicate skills. Okay, so Ren did get our skill. So we're gonna have you bounce between. I'm gonna have to work on digging so you can work on that. Alright, this is all going pretty well over here. Pretty soon the liquid oxygen should be getting released, right? They're disabled by automation because of the temperature. Alright. So the issue I'm running into here is it's not running consistently in the evenings. I'm gonna have to, I am going to have to put more batteries, and I was really trying to avoid putting more batteries in. And the reason I was really trying to avoid that is, then I gotta make more of these things that are pockets. And so far, these have not been reliable. Because, like, it's not staying hot enough to keep this liquid, and when it's not liquid, it's not helping. Even though it's so close. Alright, so it's cooling all back down again. Well, I am seeing a ton of oxygen in here. So I think it might be working. Because then bang, what happens is it dips to 335, it pumps out like 1 or 2 pumps of the liquid oxygen. This releases a bunch more gas into the room to make up for the empty space, which warms it back up. Yep, that's exactly what just happened right there. Is a little bit became liquid oxygen, it made room, and so that bumped up the temperature just a smidge. So it's kind of juggling at the moment. Because definitely want to have a little bit of extra heat, or a little cold here. Just to make sure it doesn't turn back into gas before I'm ready. Okay. Probably put one more solar panel up here. Might be enough. Yeah, because it's juggling that temperature again and again as it's turning into more and more liquid oxygen, but that's releasing more and more polluted oxygen in here, which then becomes liquid oxygen, which then becomes polluted. So I think we will eventually hit an equilibrium where this will turn on, a little go in, then this will turn on, a little go in. It'll just have like a rotation. It'll probably be, honestly, once this whole thing's submerged. Alright, let's check on you, see how you're doing. More of the plants are getting down to temperature, so that's good. So I don't want to go through a huge process now of like adding a bunch more stuff. Because we're almost fixed. Can I get around that one spot of pipe? Not really. Not the way I want to, at least. So this colony is slowly getting better. Which is what the hope was, is that by dealing with all these like little one-offs, like taking the petroleum line and insulating it, and having this with the radiant plates and all that, that like I wouldn't have this sweeping, you go from hot to just snap it over to cold. That would be able to like slowly wean it back into cold. That way you could just, nick off one or two systems as needed to adjust stuff. Okay, I got water in here again from somewhere. Been trying to think of the best way to do the battery. I'm kind of honestly thinking for the battery, I'm just going to extend this well, no, because that'll block that solar panel. I can't extend that way. I don't want to set up a whole other thing, but I'm going to have to, aren't I? It's fine. We'll try and just leave it alone. Because if it's stable enough, I don't even care if it kicks on and off. Ooh, you were right at that fence. The hydrogen in the pipe is getting cold enough that it would be enough to trip that sensor. It just needs to warm up, or cool down, sorry, the around enough to bring the sensor down. And every couple seconds, I'm watching the liquid oxygen there, so it's at 4,000 grams. It just peaks for just a second. I just want to see any liquid oxygen go into that system at all. Because once I have that, I know my system is working. It's just got some buildup. We're seeing tons of oxygen out here now, like really a lot of oxygen outside the system. It's just inside here because these aren't running consistently. We're having a big problem. And then because our power is effectively offline here. Come on. All right. We're almost reaching the point with the hydrogen temperature in that pipe that these are gonna start turning on and off because it'll be too warm, that I would be at risk of turning that hydrogen into liquid hydrogen. And if that happens, that'd be a problem. So we have it so it shuts off when it gets close enough to that temperature. Alright. It is surprising how much this is juggling. Yeah, you condense at 297, negative 297. So we're pretty much just over 10 away, away from that. Okay. I keep putting off this thing with the batteries, and I need to not do that. I'm just running into a problem with down here. That's a separate power grid, right? Yeah. Oh, you're not even hooked up yet. Let's wait to see how that helps. Because that should keep it from going on to just battery power a bit longer. Because they just needed to carry over to the next day where the hydrogen doesn't have a chance to warm up at all. Not a meaningful amount, I should say. Alright, give me something good. A snazzy suit, aluminum ore. Alright. Was Rowan here? I think Rowan is here. Okay, and how are we doing over here? More of those are coming online. So far, the air's doing good. It is going to start thinning out soon because I am not running my oxygen production much. Yes, this is cooling off first, and that's because of the Wheezewort, mostly. Alright, how are your skills going, by the way? Alright, so Harold is better at farming. So you need Harold to get all the calories they can out of whatever food they do get. Probably check out all skills here. Your building and doctoring is fine. Your farming and building is fine. Leave that alone. You're already on the edge. That's fine. Okay, so we're finally catching up with this. Again, I'm trying to deliberately not take the sand. But I am trying to drain off as much as I can of the brine and salt water just down here, basically to forget about it and not even worry about the later. But I'm kind of just trying to open this up so we can have more oxifern planted. Because the oxifern doesn't really produce a whole lot of air. If we look at this, it absorbs 156.25 milligrams of carbon dioxide and puts out 31.25 grams of oxygen. So it is a net positive system that I'm actually creating more atmosphere than I'm consuming. It's just, it's in such small quantities. So it's not something I'm going to want to be, or I'm going to really be able to use as a main way of handling air. But it is something I could use as just like an added bonus. Alright, so petroleum's getting there, so pretty soon we'll start getting the next tank filled. Once I get the next tank filled, then that'll start coming back online. I'm trying to hold off turning back on my oxygen production in this area for as long as I can, because of the heat it generates. I want them to be able to get this as cold as possible before we get there. The big problem is I need to wait for our construction person to get one more level in mining, so they can cut through this to build that last section of pipe. Actually, honestly, you know what? Don't even worry about that. Leave that there. Take apart the one space of insulated tile, build your pipe, and put it back. We don't need to wait for the levels. I need to get this thing sorted. Second colony is alive? Yep. That's pretty much how I figured it was going to go anyways. It was just, I didn't get things under control in time. I was being stubborn about stuff I shouldn't have been stubborn about. So when I got a replacement, I just immediately wired him in. Okay, so with that, we've got a new route for polluted water. So they've got this polluted water route now. I can cut here. It should drain all into this. And cut there. Okay, didn't select that one. I'm just trying to clear this out. We'll end up putting a bunch of it back. But for the moment, I just want to get what I can out of here. Let's watch to make sure they don't break anything. Because there's a good chance they did select one of the wrong things along the way. Okay. But then the hope is, like I said, that I will be able to bring the petroleum coolant line a bit farther up. Just get a job in the kitchen, you'll live forever. Pretty much. How are you doing down there? You're doing okay. Because soon enough, I'm going to have to get them back into producing the oil. Alright, the temperature's coming down enough that the next plant is online. Those aren't really cooling off fast enough. I don't have anything that's bringing cold up here. Then the water they're pulling in from the reservoir is still too hot. That's honestly the place. That's the reason I made this radiant with the thermal tiles. Is my hope is to bring the temperature up, or bring the temperature down on the water here. And then the hopes that'll help. Alright. You need to be turned on finally. Because the air pressure's starting to get low enough that I'm starting to worry about it. Because all that'll happen then is all these will go from being fine to being turned off because air pressure. And the reason I turned this one up way up here is this is already hot, so I'm not worried about getting hotter. Turn that up in priority. That should introduce hydrogen. When we get hydrogen, that'll power that. And again, it'll help as well. So we're getting this all sorted. The air is getting super tenuous in here. All right. It's hard to really get a feel for what's happening here, because this is mostly polluted oxygen, or this is mostly just clean oxygen now. The air pressure in this room is getting very high, though. Gonna give it a little bit less strict. Yeah, I know your food's very low. You're working on it. Alright, so the hydrogen is kicking on and off now. Okay. Oh, do you have you wired up to automation? You should be if you're not. You are not. That's a shame. That'd be fine for me to fix. Remember those resources being on the same map? Are they separate between the zones of map? Yes. It used to be they're all on one map, but they did branch it out to others. So what I want to do is this is power generation, so we're gonna go ahead and run a wire through here. So that way it's not turning on the steam constantly, so this room stays a little bit hotter, so we get a little bit more efficiency out of our steam power. Alright. Because any extra efficiency I can get out of my steam and my petroleum and all that means that much more heat I'm not making. I mean, the steam won't be making heat, but all these stuff making. And the much more efficient I get power out of a lot of these things. Yeah, you're okay up there, Puffed? Looks like you're having difficulties. Oh, there is a Wheezewort with granite up here I didn't see. I mean, that'd be another way to pipe in some more cold. Probably not much, it's a lone Wheezewort by itself, but you never know. But it depends on your starting planet. It can all be the same planet if you choose. Yeah, so if you turn on the spaced out DLC, you'll have just like your starting planet will be just the limited stuff we have on this one. If you turn off the spaced out DLC, you'll have almost everything on your starting planet. Yeah, so air pressure is becoming a problem in here because again, I'm not getting the petroleum over. But that's the whole gimmick with the spaced out DLC is it's designed to make you go to the multiple planets. I do think the next time I play this, I'll probably not bother with the spaced out DLC. Where are all the slicksters? Who are you whistling for? Rongor. Buddy. Pal, friendo. Not gonna tell you how to live your life, Rongor. But, there's only one slickster in this room. Here, look, Rongor, I'll help you out. You don't seem to be understanding what's happening here. We'll kill the long hair one. Because you seem to be stuck forever whistling. And the long hair one doesn't breathe anything I care about. Rongor. Buddy. No one's coming ever. Yeah, but the thing was, he was sitting there whistling like, come on, boy, and it's like, hey. But it was a long hair slickster, so I'm gonna have to get a replacement slickster for here. That said, this is probably not a bad opportunity to try and move the slicksters farther down. I don't think I'll even bother taking the time. Because we are pumping carbon dioxide into this room. So it should be fine. It's also probably time that I actually do something with this. You know what? I probably don't even care about having... I don't think I actually care about having the oil and all in this location. At all. Because it's not like I'm ever going to produce a meaningful amount of oil here. It was mostly I was using those as a carbon dioxide sink. Which I'd still like to do. What in here even uses power? It's just that. I'm not even using the incubator. Okay. So what I might even do is once we get this water under control, put a slickster pit down here and just let the slicksters go. Like, just let them go at it. Alright, you're getting not too far from the point that you're just going to start having all that kick over. Is this door accessible? Yeah, it's still accessible. Alright, make sure all our other pipes are functional. They are. Okay. So, what we can do is, first of all, get rid of this bridge. I don't want to do this. So they can actually reach everything. Okay. Do it like that. And this is because I'm expanding this enough that I'm gonna need to be able to, like, inject more petroleum into the line. So there's that whole bit. So plumbing, radiant pipe. We'll put that there. So again, we're just trying to expand the area that this covers. Kill and eat that. Oh, not the natural gas getting here. One thing, oh, I see one problem I have. Plug that back up. So we opened that previously for a variety of reasons. And I do not want that open anymore. So we kind of changed the way we're handling this. Oh, I'm also going to need to ship in new suits. Does cooling plants still work if they're submerged in water? Yes, you just have to cool the water, I'd imagine. Because there are plants that flat out grow in water. What is going on with you? Why are you all of a sudden telling me there's, like, no obsidian? We've been having that a lot where it's like, there's no obsidian. Okay, there's some odd 100 metric tons of obsidian. And like, look, man, it can't be both. And they haven't changed any doors to limit motion or anything. Alright, so they're not able to use any of the spacesuits really at the moment. Oh, what do you got going on? Snazzy suit. You would be really good for the other one. Alright, there's a little bit of a risk, but having someone who's committed specifically for operating be a good choice here. Schedule. Steve. Skills. We already got that. Priorities. Alright, Steve, buddy. You know what your job is? Your job is to run in the hamster wheel. If you're not running in the hamster wheel, your job is to tidy and put stuff away. That's your life, Steve. Now, the problem, the reason why it's like this is a bit of a risk, is just the fact that, you know, I don't really have much food here. Okay, so temperature does seem to be coming down here slowly. Immediately went to bed. Alright. And oil's still fine for now, so I'm not going to worry about it. Oh, I see what happened here. That's fine. We'll fix that later. Right, we're going back over here because I need to also go down here and say, I would like a new set of suits, please. I'd really like you to actually, give me some liquid oxygen to the system, alright? Really, really kind of need that now. I'm just scared if I take this much warmer. So I'm unwilling to go warmer than that. That's already very dangerous. That's gonna pop in the pipe. Okay. Come on, give me at least one little thing. Like, we've been waiting on this, and it's running solid. Just waiting for it just to hit enough to push that through. The problem is just I don't have enough power storage, so these go offline very briefly. It's letting this just barely catch up, versus if it was running constantly, it'd be fine. Oh my god, are you seriously gonna try and overheat again? I may need something. Use the crude oil. I've got plenty of that. I need something that'll avoid turning solid. Because batteries keep getting in danger of overheating. That's because I put the wire there and it freezes and that no longer, you know, does what I need it to do. Yeah, the air pressure keeps building and building and building in here. It seems to be the temperature it turns into liquid warms it up again. It's like we're getting more liquid in the room, but it's just as we take it out of here, it just goes right back in. Alright, so you are getting to the point of starting to turn that into steam. I'm surprised you haven't brought me that oil yet. There should be plenty of it down there. Yeah, it's just every time it's condensating, it's adding new liquid in there. It's having the effect of warming it up. Oh, we got our first thing of. It's gonna turn to gas before it gets through. Was that heat damage from it being too cold? It said heat damage. I don't... Is the pipe. So it's not actually heat damage. What? Let's force this to wait for it to be colder. Go back to what we were set on. Because I don't believe there's a too cold. I believe what's happening is it's getting too warm and it's turning from liquid into gas state. What is a little surprising is I kind of expected these liquid reservoirs and all that, the temperature of them to plummet as it was putting, you know, negative 300 something degree liquid oxygen through them. Okay, so we're starting to put a lot more air into the room, which is warming up the room a lot. That's because a whole lot of that became liquid at the same time. Yeah, it went from having 64 kilograms of air pressure in here to next to nothing. Okay. I'm hoping I don't have to do anything. Okay. Well, I mean, that should still be cooling these off. Because we got negative 60-something degree gas going behind here. Alright, so I've got to... Why are you not getting oil? There should be oil down here. Let's try and see what's going on and why we're not getting our oil up here to try and figure that out. So you're still pumping all the polluted water. We got decent water in our reservoir. The petroleum generator's still not running because that's probably still building up the other side. What's the entire this entire contraption supposed to be doing? So what's supposed to happen is we look here. I'm bringing polluted oxygen into the room. It goes into this chamber here. That makes it ridiculously cold to the point that it condensates into liquid oxygen, which no longer is polluted. So the way that works is if we look here, you'll see all the hydrogen going through. Hydrogen has a ridiculously low condensation point, so I'm using that as coolant. And that's what these are here. These are these solar panels and batteries and all that are powering these, which take the air around it, makes it hot to take the air in the pipe and makes it cold. So we run the hydrogen through here, make it really cold, turn this into steam, which is mostly, this is just to cool it off, not to actually run any kind of power here. And so it's just, all of this is effectively turning polluted oxygen. Oh my god, please. Just, I don't care, bring me something. Because this is overheating now. There we go. So problem I'm running into with this right now is it's so cold up here that... Oh, it's so cold because of the radiant pipes. I need to mop up some oil for them? Yeah, I should have mopped up oil, though. That's the thing I don't understand. We've mopped up plenty of oil over the time. What are you doing? I think I have a ton of granite. Oh, you're just carrying it back. Yeah, so that's the problem is we have right now, is they put the brine down, it turned, like, it's liquid for a little while, the battery keeps it nice and warm, but when it turns solid again, it's no longer transferring heat to to the solid ice, and therefore it just stays ice forever. Except this one spot for some reason, and it's becoming a real problem. So I think what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to get crude oil here, because that's got a more of a temperature tolerance, or petroleum if you got it. I'm not picky. And honestly, if it gets cold enough, I'm even willing to put carbon dioxide, liquid carbon dioxide. That's what this is. This is liquid carbon dioxide up here. That'll be tricky to use, though, because liquid carbon dioxide goes solid so fast. Yeah, so the air pressure is slowly building. Yeah. Oil solidifies at -90. Yeah, I don't know what the Fahrenheit equivalent is, but yeah, that should be far more tolerant than this is. Yeah, because this is 2.3 Fahrenheit. And the oil, I want to say, was like -14 or something like that. I should have because they mopped up a bunch of oil. We had oil right here. That's what I don't understand. Oh, do I have... Don't tell me you're set to take oil. No, you're not. Do I have someplace set to take? That's what's happening here. There's where all our oil's going. It's being put here because I had that set up forever ago to do that. Well, hear me out, game. What I'm willing to do here, deconstruct all of that, put a plunger there. -40C is the same as -40F. Yep. Try emergency work on the water thingy. See a delivery. So the problem was I had another plunger down here I was putting the oil in. So they were getting the oil, it's just they were adding it to the reservoir where the slicksters were. I don't know what... We had yesterday, for some reason all the slicksters started pathing down to the bottom part and then starving to death. And I couldn't figure out why they were doing it, which is why I solidified that over there. And apparently they just didn't recover. Okay, so you've got most of that built. Alright. So the big first step is I gotta get the water out of this. I really don't have a good solution for that. Well, the other thing we can do is obsidian. Honestly, for the outside tile, that's more than fine. Okay, so the caveat with this one... I'm going to need to start on one end and work our way over. You build normal walls from bottom up to push water out. Oh, that is a lot of walls to build. I'm just going to put a pump down here eventually. It's just I don't have a place to put the water is the problem. I've been just letting all the liquid just kind of dump here in the bottom. Oh, hey. Nope, too much liquid. Yep, too much liquid. Because you can weirdly, like, mop the bottom of water. Alright. Yeah, so I have to get another battery up here. The pump will do it. It just takes a while. 4 pumps. Yeah, the problem is dealing with power. That's a big issue right now, because... Are we ready to get that petroleum through? Okay, we're really close to having the petroleum start shipping back over to our colony. The other thing I need is I need... So this one's on me over here. You should already have the spacesuits stacked up, right? You don't. Why have you not put those in there yet? Oh, because you can't repair spacesuits. Because the thing that you repair spacesuits with is currently unable to get power. Turn this back on. Like that's the thing that's killing me right now is just we put ourselves dedicated to petroleum. The other colony died temporarily, and it shut everything down. As soon as that petroleum gets through, we'll be good. The issue right now is we have just one good spacesuit for all of the colonists to share, so we're really not making much in the way of petroleum right now. And why aren't you pumping? Come on, I just need to get that topped off. Alright, and brine water. Let's drop that here, because I'll get tossed in with the rest of it. Oh, that's real bad in there. The worst thing is we got all these areas over here that's got plenty of oxygen there. The natural gas is starting to overbuild. You gonna go dormant soon? No. It's so annoying. I'll get the power fixed because one power type will be a problem, and then I'll get it fixed, and I'll be like, okay, we're back to the other one. So none of these selections are pre-made blueprints, like in Prison Architect rooms. No, I don't even know that this. I don't think this game has blueprints. I could be wrong. I have a feeling this cycle is gonna keep going like that till our room is like up to here, in liquid oxygen, and then it'll start becoming reliable. Oh, you weren't sure? Never made it this far? Gotcha. So if we look at the maximum power we have on this grid, it's 550 watts. If we look at the maximum power on this one, it's 900. So I can attach these two grids to each other. So that's one more thing I can do to help this system. So let's look at our power grid. We can go ahead and grab the power cables here, conductive wire. I'm running low on iron, which is very concerning. That should help a little bit because that puts an extra battery on here and an extra solar panel. Okay, come on. Well, another thing I was meaning to do that we didn't do so far. Is trying to backfeed this hydrogen. Yeah, but all this is one way unless I can... So I want it to go there. I don't think you can just be like, yo, take this pipe, turn it the other way. Alright, come on. Alright, so both of these should start coming back online soon. Yeah, you keep seeing that high pressure vent opening for a second, closing for a second. And you see like the liquid oxygen will like get down to temperature, they'll warm up suddenly as like more and more of this condensates. The thing is just gonna be a cycle where you just keep filling that room up until it gets down to about like 1 bar worth of air. And that's when the temperature start being more steady. Oh my goodness, please. I just need that first batch of petroleum to start coming through. It's so close. Basically, once this hits 100%, then it dumps a whole bunch over at once. That should stabilize us. Just waiting for that. Oh, here's the thing we need to do. It's gonna be a little bit risky thing. Hey, you. Enable auto bottle. right. Okay, so that's hooked up there, so that's another solar panel feeding the system, and another battery to be a bit more of a buffer. And this doesn't really use a whole lot of power down here. That should help. Because the more I can smooth it out so this doesn't turn off, the better. Alright, so bear with me, chat. I'm going to grab myself a quick drink, and I'll be right back. Because one way to look at it is, if you're noticing, this this liquid here is building up. It's up, like where we were before, we were sitting at about 4 kilograms of liquid oxygen on the bottom. It's up to 206 kilograms. So it is definitely, like, we're definitely processing more and more and more of this. I wonder if that gets rid of the germs. I assume it does. Seems to. And we're seeing less and less polluted oxygen. Now, the downside is we're ending up with lots of natural gas up here. That's fine. We'll get there. So one thing that would help is have both there. With these vents, that was the CO2 vent for when I had the natural gas hooked up. We have this one over here that was currently wired into that system. We've got that whole mess wired in. So I can backfeed into all this, which I really don't need. Alright, so I'm looking for a place I could shove another natural gas power plant to add on to this, so as the petroleum goes offline, basically not have it depend on any one power type. How's their temperature? Because this is getting super sketch inside here. The problem is I don't have any oxygen around at all. Alright, we might take Alpin and remove Alpin's movement restrictions, or Alpin will die in there. So, where we had Alpin restricted here. Guess what, buddy? You can go through these doors any way you like. You're free. You're free to live in the dangerous world that is out there. Because you've gotten to the point now that your athletics is enough that you don't die. And Alpin's like, it's my moment. Finally. I don't even know what you did, but okay, that's fine. Alright, so we're getting the body temperature sorted. You thought you were safe in the kitchen. And then things continued to escalate. So what was safe is no longer such. Tell it to mine all that. Tell it to mine all that. We'll deal with that in a minute. I'm queuing that up so when they don't have anything else to do, they can work on that. Oh, I think that's gonna kick it over. Alright, meanwhile, we can go here and say pipe, radiant, radiant, cut. Make sure to cancel that so they don't build any more pipe. Alright, so it's good to set that back a little bit. But with that extra gap in there, I need to put more petroleum into the system. Because I want one or two gaps in the whole system if possible. It's this big gap here is the thing that's a concern. Oh, I keep that connected. We'll deal with it from the other side. Okay, so cut that. Let it backfeed. Alright, so shouldn't you be backfeeding now? Aren't you basically full? Oh no, you're... Because I pulled all that off, you got a little ways to go. That's fine. And that's fine, we can leave the rest of that there. So it should help cooling even more. And every little bit I can get this air and all that cooler and all that going through the building cooler should help. The big thing I'm hoping this would help is we've been having like this heat creep right around. And that is because before it ended about there, so I was able to creep around this whole area. That I'm hoping, by adjusting this the way we have, it should reduce the amount that can creep around. It should mitigate a little bit at a minimum. Come on. Pop over to 5,000. When you pop over to 5,000, this should dump like half its tank. Hey, Proger, how's it going? The temperatures are coming down in there. We are getting more air up here. That's all helping. So we are slowly fixing this. We are struggling with food again. We've got a little bit of natural gas in here that's concerning. Why are you starving? You shouldn't be starving. There's no shortage of food here. There will be if I don't get the air pressure solved. Where did all your liquid air go? What happened that this whole thing shut down? Oh, and... hopefully that'll prevent it from overheating now. Oh, I see the problem is. So the issue we have now is because of the temperature of those batteries, it's warming up the hydrogen in the pipe so much. It's managed to successfully go and it's overheating it all. We'll see if it recovers on its own. My hope is it will. It also might be a thing that I just move this solar panel up here, get rid of that one. Maybe just putting meat on the menu since the plant doesn't seem to be working out. There's not a whole lot for me to kill and eat. We have killed and eaten most of the animals we've seen that I don't really need. There's a pip here. So you're getting eaten. And that thing's hovering out in the middle of the nowhere where I can't reach it. That's the reason the puffs have gotten to survive, is I try and get near them and they fly out and it just, dupes, keeps running back and forth trying to get it and not having a chance to actually kill it. Alright. I have a bad feeling that crude oil is going to turn solid as well. It sucks that that's heating up the, Maybe we switch this from Radiant to either just normal or that. Basically, insulate this a little bit so the heat exchange isn't as extreme, because that should be more than enough to continue to keep that oil from letting these overheat. But right now the danger is it's going to get cold enough on the oil that'll freeze, and it's taking too much of the heat out of the hydrogen. That's causing its own problems there. Okay, so let's see how that does. It didn't go all the way to insulated. We just went to regular. So there should still be a decent heat exchange. Well, nowhere near as much as it was before. Still cooling down a lot. Okay, so the crude oil, I can't tell if it's still cooling off or it's maintaining. Maintaining is fine. I think it's still cooling off. Let's insulate some of the pipe. Just a dabble that's not doing that way. Because, like, right now... Okay, it is starting to cool off the hydrogen again. It's just the problem was it heated up, so now this area's got, like, a ridiculous amount of pressure of, oxygen in it. Oh, and what I was going to do is power solar panel, put it up top here. Do that. Once that's, sorted, I'm going to take down this solar panel, because now it'll be blocked. Because then I should be able to extend this platform to add more batteries on here. I can just knock that out. Because the oil should be fine. Oh, did you ever... Alright. Anything here we care about? Sure. Did you ever get those suits in here? You've got some suits in here. How are you doing? Have you worn out all your suits yet? You still have 2. You did ultimately pass on the petroleum to the other location. Cool. So that should be bringing our power back on over here to be steady. Okay. So now I no longer need people to run in this the whole time. So now I've got all that going on. Now just start fixing the air in here. The pipe gets blocked by the trace amounts of hydrogen in there. That's fine. I guess, honestly, let's turn that building on. I'm not really using natural gas for much anymore. So having it supplement the cooling of the area isn't the worst use. Because we're going to have it continue to cool off this whole area down here. You know, I changed my mind. Don't do it. Actually, I'm debating, because what happens is this goes dormant, I run into problems, but if I'm looking at this, I still have this on natural gas, which powers... No, I definitely don't want that to be a problem. Alright, hang on. Okay, so the reason I don't want that shut, that's their stuff that helps keep them from being stressed. I'm at the point with these, I could put the better beds in, that would help. Furniture. Alright, the comfy bed is 4 in size. Starvation. You have 0 calories. I have a singular Paku there. I was hoping you'd get a, little stress is good for you. Not really. Alright. Have a good one, Hawk. We're gonna kill the Paku. I'm depleting that reservoir anyways. So that's air pressure, that's the problem now. You turn that back on to help with the air pressure there. Okay. It's also time to turn you back on, I think. Because that oil reservoir is depleting. Because I've not been doing anything with that oil for a long time. Then the problem with this is it ends up bleeding a bunch of, the air back up. We are bringing the pressure down, though, so that might help. Okay, so turning that on has already got this starting to pick up. That's going to be our source of heat, which we're still fixing. It's just so hot up here. Hey, Chillin' Spree, how's it going? Let's see. So you got all that going on. That's fine. That system's all fine. I got plenty of polluted water here, so I didn't need to turn this back on. Hey, Luxray. Yeah, so we've got this whole hallway nice and cool. So that's good. It's pulling a decent amount of natural gas to keep all the natural gas stuff up and running. Continuing to dump a bunch of this out into space. How are you going now? Okay, so the temperature's coming right back down. We're back down to negative 300, 310s. So we're good there now. And this is on the edge, honestly, of turning that oil back into a, turn the oil back into solid, which is concerning, because that'd be a whole pain point. Alright. They're working on it. The water reservoir is fine. This is all running fine. You don't need this wheel anymore. You can turn that off. You don't need this wheel anymore. Turn that off. You can turn this on now. Start taking all this polluted oxygen that's building up over here and get it spread around a bit more. Yeah, the air pressure's improving here. That's good. Which that should continue to improve here. This is the one I'm excited for. I wanna see this kick in. So anytime now, the oxygen here should reach the point of being able to condensate. Then turn back into liquid and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so my plan here is going to be put more insulated, like put 2 more batteries over here. Once the solar panel's built. We'll make this then a tile that water can go through, so that the oil just spreads out more evenly across it, and that should be enough to handle that. Like, if I need to put a little bit more oil down there, we'll put more oil down there. I don't think that'll be necessary, though. That oil is just getting colder and colder. Alright, I guess we just insulate this entire pipe. No, that's not the right kind of pipe. Insulate this. That, even insulated, it's displacing enough heat to keep that handled. Because the insulation does bleed heat out, it's just much slower than the other ones. Alright, so let's turn back on, but the pipe is blocked. You're still on a filtered line, right? Yeah, you are. Okay, that's fair. Harold earned a skill point. Farming. Ren. Building. Steve. Operating. Okay. And good morning. Luxray, if I didn't say so already, I may have. And how are you doing on this? Alright, so you're still building that. We do want to continue. Let's have you sweep all this first. It'll take forever. But if I don't sweep this before I build that, I won't be able to reach it ever. You're also going to need to sweep everything in here. So it's not in there when that's going. It'll take me a while before I'm going to be able to get this third one on. Starvation. Why is your temperature suddenly a problem again? It's this. This is the problem. It's put out a bunch more heat. Because this should all be getting colder. Well, actually, you know what it probably is? It's probably the petroleum that's 152 degrees going through here. Even in the insulated pipe, because it's not moving, it's just sitting there cooking the place. Well, that's crap. Alright, well, first of all, I can't send everyone back. So right now, Harold, go home. I can get less one mouth to feed here for a little bit. Second up thing. You're dead. You're food. Yeah, no, the problem is I have to get another way of getting that around here. Because it was fine and all that. And we looked at that before, is that I wanted to be able to, make that go behind here. But it's just such a difficult route to make that work. One thing, why are you here? Oh, right, you're here if I wanted to add more steam to this room. I actually do want to add more steam to that room. That's not that much pressure. Okay, so temporarily, let's just say, how would you feel about a bunch of heckin' water? So I want this to be closer to, like, 60 kilograms or more. Alright, let's cut that off. I may have put too much in there. Alright, so give that a chance, because I put enough liquid in there that it cooled off the room, so the steam is recondensating. That shouldn't last long, though. Alright, what can I do about the petroleum? I don't really have a good way I can navigate around. Like, I could do something like that, but that just becomes a direct problem there. But I do agree, it going through there is a problem. Oh man, I have so many of these pipes. There's just no navigating anywhere. Alright, come on. Where's the petroleum line go through? Goes through down here? I've got to cool it down. Alright, so what I'm gonna try and do. So this one's up. We're gonna take a bridge and put it going on the up direction. That one's down. Get rid of that bridge. I'm gonna try and do my best to route it past here to start trying to cool off the petroleum in these reservoirs. Alright, meanwhile, do we ever get those suits delivered? Is that ever handled? What? Why is there only one suit here? Oh, the others were wearing the suits when they died, so there's just not as many suits in existence right now. Alright. So let's say atmosphere suits make like another 5. Okay. Alright, yeah, so it started to make this liquid again. Okay, that's holding its temperature. You know, that one can be deconstructed because it's blocked. Cool. So what we're going to do with this now, I'm going to go over here. Make room for 3 batteries. Go ahead and run the power cable like this. Don't have to worry about too much power. I know I want at least 2 more batteries. Let's just go ahead and we'll just jump right up to 3 batteries. And I'll wait till that's built. And once that's built, I'm going to go ahead and replace that with a water tile to let the oil through. And if necessary, then we turn this back on to put a little bit more oil into the setup here. And that should be enough that these don't turn off over the nighttime when these are offline. Okay, because the good news is this room has very quickly gone back to where we want it. It's actually, these are running colder now. Okay. And these are all in bad shape because of temperature. Alright, so first we have to stop the hemorrhaging. I can't send it back, but we need to stop sending the ridiculously hot stuff there. Yeah, so we're unable to reach it because we're not getting enough oxygen into those suits because this isn't getting enough air pressure. I'm gonna have to turn this back on. Oh, you do have a bunch of suits. You know what? That's fine. How are we doing with water? Our water is perfectly fine. Yeah, that's fine, whatever. Okay, so we basically instantly put ourselves back in trouble by allowing the petroleum to go through there. Like I said, if I can get going behind here with a like have the radiant pipes go back through here and back. Well, that's interesting. Okay. That'll work perfectly. Alright, so cut that one. Cut that one. Now I can cut that one. And then this one. And I can turn around here. Put a bridge through there. We want radiant pipe here. And then this pipe will leave regular. Can this work? We'll put it like that, it'll go down here, then we'll bridge it across. So another set of bridges there and there. And then this can go around and we'll be good. Oh, and we can go ahead and just radiant pipe this part of the connection. This game seems too complicated for you. It's one of those things that if you jump, it's a problem you run with a lot of these games. If you jump in the middle of a run going on, it can be very overwhelming. But where you start, where you have just like a little box like this, there's 3 dupes, and you have nothing else. You just build like the one thing, and then you get the next thing, it builds on the previous thing. You get the next thing, it builds on the previous thing. So it builds up to be complicated. But so many of the games they don't start that way. Like this is pretty late game. That we're doing our space exploration and all that. There's still more later game stuff I can end up doing, but you're looking at a run that's way, way far into it. Alright. I've got to get this temperature fixed. It is absolutely killing us. Alright, so temperature is coming back down very rapidly now that I don't have net new petroleum going in that line. It's actually already cleared most of the petroleum out of the line. I'd really like them to get this built. Oh, did I send Harold across because Harold was starving? Let's send Harold back. Totally forgot about that. Alright, and I do not want Harold to take the spacesuit with them. Okay, we got more suits. It's like, where are suits? Another thing is just, don't worry about that. Okay, so we got a whole bunch of suits here. It's already good. Got plenty of spares. Let's restock them. Alright, how are we doing up here? Coming along well. Actually, we're about to get actually properly cold liquid oxygen in the system. Even before all this is online. That's good news. I'm still gonna finish building it out. We've already committed to it. Or was getting properly cold. It's getting there. Yeah, it's like right on the fence. It's just the new air is condensating. And it's just enough it's slowing down all of it. There we go. We've got extremely cold liquid oxygen going through the system. It is warming up entirely too fast. So that's a problem. So because we do have the gate, all right. That's still warming up. Why are you warming up though? Oh, okay. The insulated pipes will come down in temperature, so that is an issue we have going on. But it should correct when those pipes get super cold. I hope. Because that starts evaporating in mass. That's going to be really bad. Alright, for right now, let's just turn off this sensor. Let's just, you know, pretend it's all okay. Let the oxygen flow. Turn that back off. How bad would this be when we release all of this oxygen here? And just like that, the air pressure shoots up to 6 kilograms. Whoops. Alright, go ahead and open that door. I don't think we need that door anymore. So what should happen here, at least my hope is, that these insulated pipes, the temperatures are going down. That the insulated pipes will get down to like the negative 300 whatever degrees, and this will be a non-issue. It's just at the moment we're kind of just waiting for that. And just like that, we're getting a whole lot of oxygen in here. Quick light a match. With just pure oxygen. Oh, okay, so that high pressure output is just for these two here. I was like, where are we dumping all this air from? That's becoming a problem. And this should help here. Another thing we can do is carve this wider. That'll help the airflow over there. Do the same here. Help with the airflow down this side. And that system's working now. The problem is we're just waiting for the, wait for these pipes to cool down. I wonder if it makes sense to switch that into radiant pipe. It probably does, doesn't it? Let's do that here before everything goes awful. There's no reason for that to be insulated. I'm not worried about getting its heat elsewhere. if we make it radiant pipe, it should change the temperature much faster of the pipe, which should do a lot for helping get this to continue to prevent from damaging the pipe again and again, because the liquid oxygen is effectively evaporating in the pipe, and then the pressure gets too high, it damages the pipe. Oh, weird. We're actually reaching a point, I'm not getting hardly any polluted oxygen through the line. Did we seriously actually, like, deplete our polluted oxygen reserves? Oh, no. Oh, it's because I have a bridge here. That it's only going the one way through these two bridges, that it can't go the other way. Well, that's not an intended thing. Alright, what would be my best way to solve that problem? I keep hitting things I don't need to. Let's go to deconstruct. Cancel deconstructing the gas lines. There you go. Because then we'll bridge all the polluted oxygen. Because that's the whole idea, is to get all this polluted oxygen, bridge it over, and then bring it back as not polluted oxygen. So I just need to reverse those bridges is all I gotta do. Because when I looked over and I didn't have polluted oxygen, I was like, wait, what? That's what? That's not how this is supposed to work. There's tons of polluted oxygen left to go. Okay, and those are already closed. The natural gas is starting to become a problem with the buildup. We're working on it. How are we doing temperature-wise? You still... They're just not working efficiently enough. How are you doing over here? Your temperature's still terrible. You still haven't built all that. You do have your suits, but they don't have oxygen. Did I deprioritize you? Is that what happened here? Get this to be... Do this high priority. No, you actually have power. What you don't have is air pressure. Even though the air pressure's fine here. I think it's just this trace amount of hydrogen doesn't have enough air pressure. So I shouldn't have probably put this up here. Let's just turn that off right now. There's no winning, it's right on the fence. It's fine. Please tell me it's not venting all of that stuff. Oh, no, yeah, it's fine. I forgot. This is down here, so that should be only finding oxygen, carbon dioxide, and natural gas on occasion. Right, and we're gonna have... How are we doing over here? Is our power gonna shut down because I don't have petroleum going over here? No, we got a while before the petroleum becomes an issue. But we gotta get this sorted on this side so the petroleum isn't overheating, which is what this is all about down here that's not getting done in a timely manner. It's unreachable because the atmospheric suits aren't getting enough oxygen. Because their source of oxygen is that one. So Ren's getting real hungry. Let's send Ren. It's not recharged. Hey, Sluggy boy, you're getting eaten. Okay. Still pumping all the air we can, slowly bringing the air pressure down in all of this. I really need you to have more oxygen. Alright, new plan. If it's above 1 gram, just run it. Just run it. I don't care. Run it. I need them going down there dealing with stuff, and they're not because we're not getting oxygen to the suits. Sand. Sure. You use that for the filters, not. Alright. So how are we doing down here? We're still cleaning up. Not surprising. Okay, so they are instantly, Okay, so it is working, it's just damaging things along the way. Because it's making these reservoirs much cooler. So it is going to be a lot of material wasted allowing it to do that transfer. Oh, wait a second. Hang on. I can't have you going so cold that you're making solid oxygen. So, hey, let's talk about this. This tile here, gonna need you to, take it up a couple pegs. I need you to at least stay liquid oxygen, if you don't mind. What's the point that you turn 361? So I don't want that to get colder than that. Let's turn those to 390. $380. They're right on the fence. There we go. Let's turn them back into liquid. Okay. So we're just damaging all of this while I wait for it to, get sorted. Okay, so deconstruct the insulated tile. It's not needed anymore. You're being eaten? Get that done. We're gonna die if you don't get that done. Okay. Please get this built. I really need these built. Because once I build this, we can add the next piece of pipe here. Once we build this, then I can hopefully cool down these reservoirs. If we can cool down those reservoirs, that should go a long way for fixing our problems. Alright, so you still need to be just a smidge warmer. Because again, I'm inadvertently solidifying the oxygen. How is the liquid oxygen that's way above the evaporation point not evaporating? Question mark. Alright, we can add a mesh tile here. And then you need not polluted water, you need crude oil. You need at least enough to go across this way. You, don't need to be running that anymore. That's all powered by this now. And also high priority on that. Okay, so you finished the bridges, so let's get that sorted out. So just like before, cut you off and cut you off. Cut that off. And then when this empties, we'll be able to attach that over. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. And we can cancel that spot. Just gotta build this last two tiles, and then we're all hooked up and ready to rock and roll. And there'll be time to put a little bit more petroleum into the line. Offset for that new chunk. And my hope is... Okay, so we've got that going on here. So we can just connect that. Cancel this. We will cut from over here. So now it flows through. You should be moving. Why are you not moving? So you go in here, you come across, you go down this way. It's the wrong way. This bridge is the wrong way, which has frozen the whole system. That's gonna be... of extreme priority. Okay. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. Let's go ahead and drain that line to the rest of the system. Cool, and now I can cut that, and we'll just leave that there for now. Alright, and with that, I need to put a little bit more petroleum in. Because now I got this big gap in here of no petroleum to fill. That should about do it. Okay, so my hope is that we'll watch the temperature of the reservoirs come down quickly. We're gonna bring the temperature down for a while before we what about that? Yeah, now because I'm cooling off all of that. Yeah, temperature going through here, the it's warming up rapidly for the oil that by the time we get down here, it's actually not as hot as I thought it would be. But yeah, by the time it gets to this part of the system, it's pretty warm. Alright, let's reattach this before we start having the whole thing go to heck. Because we've been denying the rest of the network what it needs. It's still super hot. Those temperatures should be coming down, right? No, not really? Let's go back here, go utilities, heat plates. It doesn't really matter, use... Alright, so not this one. But the others, and see if we can't do something about these reservoirs. We'll put a plate down there too. Because that's going to go right back to overheating this place again before it has a chance to recover. Because a lot of liquid's sitting in here at 163 degrees. Because the hope was that by having this going, we'd be able to cool stuff off more. It could be we make these pipes radiant as well and just let the temperature duke it out in this area where we got cold here and hot there. That might... I mean, it should bring this temperature down at least some. We'll give it a minute. People might start starving over there, though. Alright, still too hot. It'll be just enough. Alright, because I need to keep getting more oil till it covers this whole area. It should be just enough here that, this can't stay... You know, stay dry. Or stay what warm it was. Okay, so what should happen here is as we get more gas in here, that should eventually melt. And meanwhile, why am I still getting... Right, did we ever get those bridges replaced? Yeah, I tore the bridges out, I didn't replace them, though. Because we were waiting for it to become a priority. So that way, and that should dump a bunch more polluted oxygen there and start getting us more oxygen through the system. Now this, I don't see too many broken pipes happening anymore. I'm lying. I still see tons of this. Like, this whole thing is nowhere near warm enough or cool enough. So my hope is that this will continue to cool off, because there's nothing generating heat that should matter up here. Oh, you're 200 degrees. You conductive wire and all that. Hmm. Sooner or later it'll bubble over to the next one. Alright. It's just all hitting this and immediately damaging it. I think honestly, disable auto repair for that. For right now, we're just forget the automation. Just bypass it. Just let the oxygen spill in here. It is coming out of our it is coming out of our system anyways. It is going to make the pressure ridiculously high up here, which is a problem. But honestly, at this point, whatever. My hope was that by making this... Yeah, the radiant pipes are negative 200-some degrees. Like, it's cooling them down. So my hope is by just letting that run through a bunch of times, we would get those radiant pipes to the point that they're negative enough to keep the oxygen liquid. You're turning to solid crude oil. That is not part of the plan. And you're doing so at an increasingly fast rate. Hey, come on. Work with me here. If we get all of these dipped in here, it should definitely help. Just deconstruct that thing. It's just gonna get destroyed forever. And turn it off in other ways if I need to. So food is critical. You got food? You got eggs. Eggs can certainly become food. I don't have anyone who can cook. Alright, well that'll be later food. Do I have any animals I can kill? Alright, you're gonna be food. Oh, there's one of you way over here. You're food. Is that helping or making it worse? I can't really tell. Alright, so you're coming through at 160. Oh, there we go. That's not the pipe I need to be looking for. Nope, it's not doing anything meaningful. That isn't what I wanted to see. Alright, let's try making this radiant pipe as well. So you radiant pipe and you radiant pipe. And you radiant pipe. Let's see, gas and liquid will not change temperature in a vacuum. The pipes just need to get the temperature of whatever's going through. Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. For these ones over here. That's the reason I made them radiant, was to try and get them to change temperature faster so that the damage would be fairly limited. And they're getting there, they're close. Like, these ones over here are at the point that they shouldn't be breaking anymore. I mean, I guess that means I need to make all of these radiant until we get to here. Once we're here, then I don't really have a choice. It's not a vacuum anymore. Yeah, that's where we'll stop doing that. We'll insulate it, hoping to carry it for that last little bit. And what we're also going to do for the moment is... let's just grab the pipe for right now. And we're just going to cut it and let the reservoirs get cold. Once the reservoirs are sorted, then we'll start letting other parts of the network on. Let's get this cold first, and then we can worry about the next thing. Alright, you're still dealing with starvation. Have you killed the animals I told you to kill? Oh, it's out of reach. Clever girl. Well, I mean, there's that one there. If you don't kill those, you are going to starve to death. I really need to keep building these plates, though. And all this stuff here. Because the problem is, I've got the petroleum going through, and it's just much too hot. But I can't let that go, because my other base depends on that petroleum. Alright, petroleum lamps, you good? Okay, so we could stop the petroleum going through here for a little bit. You can go right here and say, stop it. Okay. Put the liquid transfer tank on isolated tiles, because they transfer temperature to the bottom. The bottom right tile. I mean, I can do that. I would imagine they'd probably make the floor cold too, but we can do that. And it's gonna be a little while before they get to that point. That should give you food. There's a Paku down here. I wonder why they're not fighting at all, like they should be. I had them even prioritize fighting. There's some food. Yeah, it's gonna be a real big problem pretty soon, though. I was trying to keep him here long enough to get this built. What are you fighting? They are not. There you go. I was like, I thought they'd already killed it. So I need them to get this pipe built. Anything to get this temperature back down in here. Okay, so my hope is that these will ultimately help a bunch. I should probably be on this end. So it is bringing the temperature down about 20 degrees Fahrenheit, but that's still much too hot. Oh, we still have a bunch more radiant pipe to do. I really need this to warm up so that crude oil doesn't stay frozen. It's fascinating to me that I even switched to insulated tiles, and we're still having this problem. Maybe if I just cut it there. that'll help. That way I'm kind of just cooling off this one spot here. Because then these should start to warm up, because that's still sitting in oil right now. So it should warm up and thaw. What temperature do you thaw? Oh, very soon. You're actually above the thawing point. You just haven't crossed the threshold it'll thaw. Because it's got like a little bit of a buffer. Because you really don't need much cooling here. I'm actually surprised those did cut off. Should be running nearly as solid as it was. Alright. Yeah, so that crude oil is slowly cooling down. But that solid crude oil sitting inside liquid crude oil, it should be warming up. At least some. Is getting the balance of that thing sorted out as being a pain. So you're all back in business. You're good. Petroleum's all fine. These are all fine. This, I haven't even bothered continuing to work on this right now. I've got enough other problems to going on. Yeah, you're gonna have atmosphere problems because too much natural gas is getting in there. That's from all this happening. Okay, it's pipe blocked again, that's right. Yeah, so we'll say, don't run this unless you're over 2,500 grams. So turn that one off, keep this one on. That way it gets pumping this up before too much natural gas gets up here and we end up having all sorts of problems with this. Just gotta get that temperature back down. It is coming down now. That's because that super ridiculously hot petroleum's out of the line. Alright, so temperature, we've dropped it about 30 degrees Fahrenheit from what it was before. Trying to think of how I could do more for it here. Possibly it'd be dumping the heat out of this. You make this section here radiant pipe. There. And then maybe make the oil pipe as it crosses... Well, never mind. It's going over a bridge, so it won't matter that much. We already have radiant pipe on both those, so that might be sapping some of the oil. Actually, what is the temperature up here? It's mixed. It's not as cold as it was. We're trying to get better. I wonder if it makes sense to start like double insulating these walls. Like make an airlock over here to keep all this heat away. And just try and like limit how much of all this you got going on. Oh right, you all don't have your athletics or whatever yet. Because right now that's just carbon dioxide over here. There's not really a source of net new heat, it's just the stuff here, because like this isn't being used. So it's just a lot of environment to cool off. The source of heat is this, and then these industry machines down here. Honestly, with the temperature this is now, I could almost take this through here. I wouldn't... The route back is tougher. I could almost take this through here, because by the time it's getting up here, it's 50, 60 degrees. That's close enough to what the temperature we're looking for. I'll go, so not a whole lot. Still struggling with temperature problems in this location. I think this is gonna have to be. Let's start working on that. So you can go here. This part I'm not gonna bother making radiant pipe. I think radiant or regular pipe will do. And I'd have the bridges here. And connect it there. Okay. So this is gonna bridge here. Then we'll bridge that there. We'll bridge this up here, and that bridge can already be built. Because that should help bring actual cooling into the base. All right. And with that, I can queue up you. Put a pipe here. And I'll put insulated tile to replace this once it's done. Alright. I should be able to connect that right now and it'll be fine. What? I'll worry about it when it's done. Oh, need a bridge over here. Okay. Just hang in there a little longer. We've almost got this fixed. I don't have someone who can dig that. Alright, let's check their skills. Alright, so Steve is operating. Yeah, so we have one of them. Yeah, so Ren is working on it. Hey, Polluted. How's it going? Could you at least include some helium this time? I don't even think there's helium in the game. Alright. And you're still just pumping all this. Oh, and also set the petroleum in case we get any of that. I just need the crude oil here to... Don't forget about dinner. Yep, no, I'm keeping an eye on it. Thank you for making sure I'm aware. There's better not be any helium either. Maintain the balance. Yep. So I do really need you to fix this problem up here, though. Very genuine. Because what happened is it got cold enough that my crude oil started turning into solid crude oil. Alright, so it should begin right about the temperature I need to avoid having that continuously break. I'll take an arbitrary corner over here. I don't think I'm going to use it, but it is an interesting idea. Which is, I'm sure I've asked and forgotten, but have you ever heard of, had the chance to try Empires of the Undergrowth? No. Have I heard of that? It sounds familiar, but I know I haven't played it. But I don't genuinely remember one way or the other. Why is the crude oil not warming up? That is what I don't understand. Because it's sitting in crude oil that's much hotter than it. So you'd imagine there'd be a non-zero amount of heat transfer with a solid block of crude oil sitting in a pile of much, much, much warmer liquid crude oil. That one of the two ways, either the liquid would get warmer or the solid would get... Sorry, the liquid would get colder or the solid would get warmer. But it doesn't seem to be doing anything. But I'm also just continuously adding more to this, so it does cover it. Even if that just stays solid forever, that'd be fine. It's not actually that high of a volume. It's a pretty low volume of crude oil. I'm just trying to get it so it covers all these batteries so they don't overheat. Because now I shouldn't have to worry about nearly as much of having problems. Okay. I was very interested when I stumbled upon it. It's an indirect real-time strategy game. You can drop pheromones to direct 5 squads where you manage an ant colony. Interesting. That definitely sounds different. I know I am looking forward to just how many ridiculous number of games are going to be dropping here this fall. Like, we were talking about earlier on stream that there's just so many games that are, you know, were announced in the last couple days, and there's going to be even more announced before, like, over the next couple weeks. And almost all of them are, like, popping up in fall, like October, September, that kind of thing. There's a couple that are next year. One of these, like, September's gonna be a rough month. Uh-huh. And then right after, you got a bunch coming in October. Uh-huh. And we don't know when Frostpunk is gonna be dropped. So there's that, too. Because Frostpunk 2 is coming out, City Skylines 2 is coming out, you've got Starfield, there's a new Fable game, there's, yeah, Broketober. It's how it's feeling. I think I'm basically out of animals to kill for temporary food. BG3? Baldur's Gate 3, I'm assuming that is? When's that coming out? September as well? Oh, Ren earned a skill point? You're... Dig. Okay, so you can start dealing with that. Do we have any immediate food? Do I have... Slicksters, do you give meat? I don't really want to kill you. You do. Alright, well, Slicksters. I'm gonna kill 2 of you over here. And 1 of you there. There's a bunch of exits there. Frostbite thing is going to be slow to come out unless there has some early access. I heard at least 2024. Well, supposedly there was going to be an announcement today. And I didn't see what it was. Is this asking about my appointment tomorrow? Okay. I just need to stave off starvation a little longer. Like, some of these are ready, pretty much ready to harvest the moment they're no longer body temperature negative. We can also just tell it be an insulated tile there. Okay. Frostpunk 2 is confirmed 2024. Gotcha. Yeah, saying we have a ton of good games coming out this fall and next year. Like, what felt like we had kind of a dry spell of games for a little while, so far as big games, to be clear. There's been lots of indie games dropping pretty much continuously. Not many that were great for streaming, unfortunately. It's just kind of one of those things that, when it comes to content creation, unless it's a game that's got some following, it's very difficult to stream for any extended period of time, because if people haven't heard of it, they're not searching for it. So they can't search. If they're not searching for it, they're not finding your stream. If they're not finding your stream, your viewer count goes down. If your viewer count goes down, well, you don't get to do streaming much longer. The Lord says, the only knew about Frostpunk is when I went back to do the last DLC, And I then check to see if I get Frostpunk too. Gotcha. Yeah. I do think when we get close to Frostpunk 2 actually coming out, I'll probably go and break out Frostpunk 1 for a couple of streams, like warm up. Which feels weird referring to anything in Frostpunk as warm up, but warm up to it. Okay. How are we doing over here? So the temperature is continuing to go down here. And this is like right around the right temperature. I can't hook it up until this is done, because otherwise it'll just lock up. Yeah, it's like, need to find a way to flip your mechanics, where streaming is a perk for people who are into everything else. Then you're free to play taste more than need with selection. Flip your mechanics where streaming is a perk for people who are into everything. So, the problem you run into with streaming when it comes to the growth of the channel, like maintaining viewership is one thing, and I feel like we do pretty okay with that, other than like when I switched off Project Zomboid, because I had like too many people were here for only Project Zomboid for me to reasonably have like a healthy channel. Because Project Zomboid wasn't going to stick around forever, no matter what people wanted. There just wasn't... Like, it's one of those games that the updates are too slow and in between that there was not going to be that continuation. But, ultimately what ends up happening is no matter what you do, there's going to be some level of churn. People's work schedules changes, people's personal lives changes, people's interest changes. There's no not having it shrink if you don't garner new growth. To garner new growth, you need to have means of getting growth. That's doing stuff like posting on TikTok, on Reddit, on Twitter, other communities, networking, and when trying to stay within Twitch, making sure you're actively playing games that kind of do well on their games page, where you can put yourself in the top row, but the game still has enough following to get you new viewers. So you do have to kind of do all that kind of stuff. To be honest, your speed of growing through streaming primarily was amazing. A lot of it was right game, right time. Like, very genuinely. Like, I got into Project Zomboid right before they announced their really, really big update with 41, and became a known member of the Project Zomboid community on Twitch right before it happened, which that was not a deliberate and planned thing. I had no idea they were going to announce 41. Yeah, 2-5 is the key using category. Right, and that's kind of the catch, is what Polluted talking about is when you go to the games page for any game on Twitch. You know, I haven't shown this in a little while. I will bring this up real fast, so bear with me for just a moment. So, give me a moment to pop this up here. We do not be watching. So, like, for right now, if I were to bring up my display, and I know for people on YouTube, they might not care. If you're trying to grow a channel here on Twitch, you always want to be in this area here. Like, this is the really good spot. Being first can actually be a bad thing, but generally speaking, you want to be kind of in these three. This is okay. This is alright, and after this, it's just, you might as well not exist. The number of click-throughs you get is negligible. So that's the reasons why, if, for example, I pull up a game that's really popular right now, like Diablo 4, and we go to that games page, the reason I can't reasonably stream in this category is if someone goes to search for Diablo 4 content on Twitch, I am down up around this ballpark. So that's about 4 or 5 things. 4 or 5 entire screens down. There's just nothing I can do. Yeah. Government Twitch fixer discoverability to make it less all or nothing. Yeah, it's a catch-22, because, like, from the creator side, Twitch is terrible for discoverability. When it comes to the viewer side, discoverability is actually not terrible, because they go, I want to find this game, and they get people who pull in an audience and all that. Now, granted, it's one of those things that, success begots success, which is always a bad thing, but I do understand that. What they do need is more variety of discoverability, more than just the games page. Wait, you can search by games net? Normally find people staying in raids? Yeah, you can search by games. It's actually, for net new viewers, the two places I get new viewers the most is shared communities, so raids and that, and then the games page, so far as on Twitch. Off of Twitch, I wish they would let me add a query string onto the URL, so when I say, like, you know, twitch.tv/Rual Storge, you know, drop the link in Twitter or Discord or whatever, I wish I could add, like, !source Twitter, !source, you know, Rual's Discord, !source, you know, whoever else's Discord, like those kind of things. Twitch has a recommended section. Yeah. Twitch is recommended while we don't know the exact formula. It does lean heavily on either having a shared community with someone else. So, like, if I, for example, share a large amount of audience with Longclaw, I'm more likely to show up in Longclaw's recommended. If someone else is playing, you know, similar games, I'm more likely to show up in those games, which then brings you back to the game choice is very important. If I'm playing some niche game that no one is playing on Twitch, I'm not going to be getting recommended to very many people because I'm not playing games similar to other people. And it is unfortunately just kind of the way Twitch works, that it does have lots of negatives. Versus on YouTube, actually, well, for a lot of your growth, yeah, playing whatever the latest, greatest thing is going to help you. It is way more forgiving about playing stuff that's, you know, a bit more niche, a bit more off the beaten path. And as far as, like, the streaming equals luck opportunity, even outside of streaming, success is a big part luck. But there's a thing that I refer to as making opportunity. And basically that's setting yourself up so should you have the opportunity show up, that you are able to capitalize on it. And you may never get to capitalize on it. It is an unfortunate reality. But it's one of those things, if you don't do that, then opportunity comes by, you're unprepared to take advantage of it, and you don't get to take advantage of it. So it's an opportunity lost. Let's see. The biggest killer of raids is pre-roll ads. If you aren't running preventative ads on the hour to save your new arrivals pre-roll marathon, it's pre-roll. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, it's genuinely, when I have pre-rolls, the amount of people who came through and stuck around, it was, like, maybe 20-30%, if that. Versus once I got rid of pre-roll ads, it was closer to half, which still sounds terrible, but considering, you know, you have people who tune into the creator they like, and then they raid someone else who may or may not be playing the same game, yeah, you expect to churn a bunch of people. But any percentage you can get to stick around is more eyeballs, which then helps you on the game page, which then helps you on everything else. You get the idea. I actually probably did want this tile to be airflow, but not those two. Let's see. Recommend has worked out for me, like, twice ever. I did find someone I knew in real life, and I didn't think to look for a year after being on Twitch. Gotcha. Yeah, it's important to note that luck doesn't do you any good if you aren't good or prepared. That's one of the reasons why if you're an early on creator and you're doing the whole thing where you're streaming to 0 people, you should be streaming to at least 1 person, because you should have a moderator computer or your own computer moderating your chat to see when your stream goes down. So you should have at least 1 person there, and that's not like bumping the view number up. You need to know when your stream goes down, because otherwise, like, the stream goes down, and if you don't have much viewership, no one says anything. I have times when I have 50 viewers and no one says anything when it goes down. Or, like, if the audio is scuff, it's good to know that. Now, granted, I know some people actually have, like, their own audio turned on their own headset to, like, listen for. I can't do it. I cannot. Hearing myself talk, like, delayed as I'm trying to talk, my brain cannot do that. That is not a skill or a talent I believe I will ever be able to accomplish without it being so distracting. It just detracts from everything. Alberto says the only few people I've worked with for any amount have good retention from raids. It's very rare. Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. You have to overheated. Right, because they're overheating because I'm still not getting oily over here for some reason. It's not getting heavier. Could you please? Why are you not getting enough oil here to do literally anything? I mean, this is just getting damaged. Right now, disable auto repair on these two, just let them break. This one seems to be doing okay. And the reason I'm doing that is because otherwise they're just going to burn materials on this forever and ever. What are your thoughts on sponsored streams? If you have any interest whatsoever in streaming full-time, you will be taking sponsored streams. Because when it comes to streaming on Twitch itself, Twitch takes a 50% cut of any subs you get. So, why are you starving? Why are we out of food here? When did that happen? Okay. Is there animals I can eat? What are you doing? You're idle. So yeah, so Twitch takes a 50% cut of any subs you get, which is horrifically bad. And then you add on top of that, like when people buy bits, they spend like, what is it, like $1.40 to get $1 worth of bits? Like $1 to the content creator's worth of bits. The tile liquid dispenser on is stopping the oil. But it's a water flow tile. Like literally it's entire, like there's literally oil inside that tile. Does it need to be over a certain amount to go through? Stream sponsors, yeah. Basically, don't stream against your image. Don't stream against your image, whatever you... Yeah, right. But yeah, like, it's very genuine you have to take sponsorships. There's good and bad sponsorships. Like, I've been very transparent that genuinely, if you take all of the subs and all of the bits and all of the direct monetary donations I get and the ad revenue, if I take 2 to 3 sponsored streams a month, and that's game sponsors, like I haven't been doing like a whole bunch of like a HelloFresh or that kind of stuff, but just game sponsors, those game sponsors are more of my revenue than all of the rest combined. That's just how important those are for your ability to pay your bills. And that's a big part of that is the cut that Twitch takes is unreasonable. Sorry, you have no wild tile. Oh! I totally forgot about that. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. I totally forgot that I needed to have that back there. Because it's all covered up in here, I don't even think about it. Because, for the record, I haven't done... Like, I played a long playthrough before Spaced Out way back. I don't even remember how far. I got really far in the game and all that. And then I didn't play for multiple years. There's just so many things I've forgotten. And even then, I was never, like, super duper amazing at the game or whatever. Yeah, I'll go ahead and... That's fine, we'll just leave that alone. Cool. Hello, came here on the recommend channels. Thank you. Like, that's the thing I wish... Well, that was fast. I wish Twitch was better about... is surfacing a lot of the information. Well, that's... okay. Hopefully that means it won't be a problem. But, actually, here, we can... Don't do that. We're gonna go ahead and rebuild stuff. Go over here. Grab you. That's not the button I wanted, no matter how many times I push it. My mind says R. Well, my equivalent to R should be, rotate. But it says, yeah, it's able to get a 100 viewer Andy, like $2,800-ish on Plarium for the RSL sponges, which didn't take that much prep work. Plarium tends to pay decent default through, though, if you aren't getting skimmed by third-party hand. What would you need to do? You would need around 3,500 subs to make a livable wage in a low-cost area. So that's the hard thing that's to quantify, Flem Sneezy. So the thing is, like, for example, subs here in the US, they charge you about $5, and they pay me about $2.50, because I get half of it. But the problem is, not all subs come from the US. They come from a whole bunch of places. And the rate that the subs you pay them are localized. So there are places that I know that subs go down to about $1.50. And then with $1.50, it turns around and you get only 75 cents for that sub. So it can be really hard to quantify because people's like, how many subs would it make to make you be able to do this, full time? Well, that depends. Like what is the breakdown of how much the subs are? And then that 250 doesn't take into consideration taxes. So if we're being honest, at 250, if you go into taxes, you're probably making somewhere like $1.90 or something like that a sub at a time. You take revenue and all that out of that for taxation. And it's gonna vary wildly again where you're at and all that, like in the world and all that. And you also don't get, health insurance, dental insurance, optical insurance, medical insurance. All of that isn't part of it, so that's an additional expense. So it's like really, really hard to make it work. Like very genuinely, if Tomb wasn't working her job and I wasn't able to turn around and just be on her insurance, this would be completely non-viable. If it ever came to the point that Twitch, or Twitch, like Tomb, had to leave her company or whatever, that's the end of full-time streaming because there would be no way to make that economically work. Without being, someone who's pulling in like hundreds of thousands of viewers or whatever. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and let them put another round in there. Honestly, I think it'd be a way to create Patreon that fits your overall content creation plan, to include the gift sub to anyone who pays. Yeah, so that's one thing I need to do is I'm using both Patreon and Ko-Fi. I prefer Ko-Fi personally, and very selfishly, the reason I prefer Ko-Fi is it gives me a better cut. So where Twitch takes it 50-50, Ko-Fi, I get 95% of what you contribute. There's a little bit of fuzziness around the edge there, but you get the idea. It's almost all of it goes directly to me. And I did the math on the Discord where it's like, okay, if I get 100 subs, here's how much I would walk away with, versus if I got the equivalent on Ko-Fi, here's how much I walk away with. And literally I would have to have twice as many subs as people who donated to Ko-Fi to get the same amount to their side, with a little bit of wiggle room, like it's an estimate because it's a couple % off. You're less familiar with Ko-Fi options. I can't fairly say Patreon's better. No, they're about the same. Like very genuinely, they're about the same. Like they're very much, direct competitors in every way of saying it. I'm gonna add just a little bit more oil. I'm still surprised that crude oil there isn't warming up just sitting in that oil. But yeah, but Patreon was around first. Ko-Fi has also been around. Ko-Fi is slightly better going, and there's different settings you can get like up and down. But like Ko-Fi is they take a 5% cut, and then Patreon takes an 8% cut. The only complaint with Patreon is the lack of customization out with appearance. How tier list of choice page. Yeah, I don't think Ko-Fi has a whole lot more there. But yeah, the Dark Side tea I made last night was amazing. Nice. All right, so this should fix all that kind of nonsense. I do want them to put like 1 or 2 more bottles of the oil there. Mad Boy Steve says, I love Twitch and I have Turbo for the time being. It's worth it for me. However, the viewer experience has changed a lot since Samson and I bought the company. Yeah. All right. So let's see now if this avoids damaging stuff. I want to... Okay. So it doesn't seem like the liquid oxygen is warming up, which is good. But yeah, no, that's, it's... people can say what they want. Every time I've seen a company get acquired by another... Oh, we're ready to hook this up. Yep, let's fix this right now. So hook you up here. And hook you up there. And then we cut that. And then I need to inject more petroleum into the line. But yeah, no, it's an unfortunate thing, and people consider and go like late stage capitalers or whatever you can say. Like however you want to voice it. When a company gets acquired and becomes publicly traded, they have a fiduciary obligation to continue to grow the company and to continue to focus on profit. That there is an actual legal expectation for them to continue to make the company more and more profitable. Now, hopefully most companies at first, ideally, try to do so in a way that aligns with their their product. They try and make either more options, more products, more upsells, stuff that arguably benefits the user. Hey, we can give you even higher quality than you ever had before. It's just going to cost you an extra $5. Hey, we've added even more content to get even more of you to sign up, like that kind of thing. But the problem is that's very challenging to actually make happen. Like, it requires actual effort, actual investment, and all that kind of stuff that may or may not pay out. In every company I've been who has been publicly acquired, it has eventually ruined the company. Like, I've worked for a couple of startups that got acquired that ultimately what ended up happening is after they got acquired, they kind of just, the entire offering just went to crap, the company would go under, but then they just acquire the next company. Because in the meanwhile, they made a bunch of money. And I don't mean the big company would go under. It would be the products that the startup was running. Because they just nickel and dime the product into the dirt. And unfortunately, it could be very possible that we're watching Twitch go through that right now. I hope not. And I don't think Twitch is going to be gone in the immediate future. If it does ultimately go under, I think it's going to be a slow burn down. Let's see. All things are equal. All the viewers on Twitch right now watching the same streamers on Kick equals more money for Amazon. Yeah, that's the thing. Amazon has what they call the Twitch package for hosting, and Kick uses that. That's kind of one of those things that even if you're not watching Twitch, Amazon's still getting its cut. So even people are like, haha, screw Amazon. It's like, well, you're still giving money to Amazon. Sorry, but it's true. And plus, the business model Kick has right now is 100% the growth phase. It is absolutely not sustainable. We don't know what Kick does when it's outside the growth stage. And that's a normal startup mentality. You give a better offering than you can realistically sustain to get people in, and then you figure out how you sustain it. So while sure, right now Twitch looks or Kick looks amazing from the monetary side of things, which I wouldn't be on there because I have a problem where I've said moderation's a feature and they don't do enough there, and people argue against me, and that's fine. You're entitled to your opinions, but I will not be on there. But just the whole Kick thing going. All right, yeah, you're right now. You're getting a ridiculous cut. When they decide that they need to make it sustainable, what does their cut change to? What does their policies change to? What does their advertising situation change to? Who knows? Like, I don't even think they know the answer to that yet. And that's not me insulting them. I mean, very genuinely, I think right now they're in that we gotta grow, we gotta grow, we gotta grow. And then when they hit whatever their milestone or wherever the growth starts to slow down, then they'll start thinking sustainable. And that's just normal startup mentality. Kurt says, private equity firms are just as bad, if not worse, because they're always looking to make back their investment ASAP. Yep. Kind of a different side of the same kind of problem. Pretty soon I'm going to need to do my run downstairs where I throw food in the oven. That kind of whole shebang. That will do, like, the 5 minutes of words on stream or so, and that'll probably be the point we switch over to Raft, but we'll get there in a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, I've been through the IT acquisition game several times. Oh yeah, it's always bad. Twitch Prime was a game changer, though? Yeah. I don't know that Amazon could guarantee enough platforms using Amazon IVS to fully dump Twitch. No, I don't think they'll fully dump Twitch, but it's one of those things. If Twitch, does something... Thank you for the follow, welcome to stream. If Twitch does something to alienate its audience enough that people move to Kick or whatever other streaming platform comes out, it's like, okay, so we're not making as much profit in the time, as much revenue, but we also don't have any of the overhead of staffing an entire company. We just have to keep the IVS stuff going. It lowers Amazon's expenses so far as staffing and all that, and, offsets it to whoever's buying their service. So it's kind of still ends up helping them. It's not lowering it down as much as I would like. Oh, no, that's... I haven't checked. Are we in petroleum over here yet? We getting scarce? We are out. So the petroleum has to come back over, which we've been putting off because it generates a ridiculous amount of heat. But the hope is, with what we've changed, that hopefully this will be better. Let's see. The best we can do right now is that the advertising value of Kick for Stake is high enough to be running a loss leader. Makes it no matter what they can do, get ads profitable. Let's see. Dark says that it actually trans over only if your content, and that's just because you know you'd be moderation serious. Well, the problem, so there's the channel moderation and the platform moderation. So channel moderation, obviously, if someone drops in here and says hateful stuff, I'm gonna ban them, and it'll be the end of it. But the problem is if you don't have platform moderation, it ends up being that you play whack-a-mole with the number of people coming through saying hateful, awful things, and it becomes basically unhandleable. You do need a platform that says, hey, this person dropped in, they said hateful things, and they're off the platform. You know, have people be like, oh, censorship. I'm like, yeah, you know what? When people are toxic enough, oh, why is your air terrible? You're at max gas pressure. What happened to your air? When... Alright, we were separating these out, because of heat, and it needs to not be that way. But, like, you know, moderation is a feature. I've already talked a number of times about how there were games I used to play, I just got tired of all, like, the hate in them. And I'm not going back to that game anymore. It's just not a thing I'm willing to do. You know, when I've had a long day at work or whatever, and I get home and I'm like, you know what? I just want to play a game and have fun. And I have to listen to, like, racial slurs and, you know, people talking all sorts of awful. I'm like, you know what? This isn't fun to me. I don't want to do it. And be like, oh, get thick skin. I'm like, no, I shouldn't have to get thick skin. I shouldn't have to. Like, that's not a thick skin. I should be able to go in my game and say, hey, you know what? I don't want this kind of stuff. Like, I don't want... Like, I want to play in lobbies that's not allowed. I want to be able to sit there and say, if someone's done this, mark their account, don't let them in the same game as me. Because I want to have a good evening, too. Let's see. I feel like that right now, ironically. Emily's best option for keep Twitch around is to keep it in mind with their companies want to be Twitch to drive users to the competitors. As long as enough of them are using IVS and aren't like YouTube. Yep. Moderation is a must for a healthy community. Correct. Twitter has become a hellscape. Oh, I can't. I find Twitter infuriating now. Because I've talked about, like, I'll put one thing on accessibility. It's like, hey, this game included, like, a color deficiency filter. That's really cool. And a bunch of people are like, oh, they're ruining video games. I'm like, how? What? I don't understand. Literally, you could just not turn it on. That's it. You just don't turn it on and it has zero impact to your life. And it's always blue check marks. I can't tell you the number of times I have debated there's a extension you can add to your browser that makes it so blue check marks don't show up at all. And the only thing that's kept me from doing that is I know because if you don't have it, you effectively get your stuff suppressed. Because of that, I can't do that because a lot of brands end up having to get it. You know what? Actually, I do want that over there. Do I want that over here? And so it'd be a thing that would, like, it hurt my ability to get, like, new sponsors, see new games, because, you know, Electronic Arts is going to probably have the check mark. And if I block it, there's doing all that. And it's just so frustrating. Jill says, I find that Heroes of the Storm a lot lately. I love the game, but the toxic people make it ridiculous. Agreed. The worst is, as Steam forums and Reddit. So, certain subreddits are good, certain ones are bad, I agree. I don't go on the Steam forums enough to really have an opinion on that. So, entirely unrelated note, I recently got into this game called Bio Prototype, a survivor-style game that's one of the best modifier stacking systems I've ever seen in a game. I have no idea about what it is. If you could drop it in the game suggestions, I'd be down to check it out. Twitter is absolutely terrible. Yep. I'm not sure I'll put effort in if you aren't actively using Twitter, though. So that's one of the things is you do kind of have to use stuff like Twitter, because there are people who don't join Discords, which is fair. So you just kind of have to have, like, as many channels as you can to hit as many people in as many places. But yeah, no, moderation's important. But, like, if you're on a platform that does not do moderation, then they're just like, hey, you know what? If you want moderation, do it on your channel. it is one of those things. You have people who are like, ha ha ha, I'm with this creator. This creator's whole thing is they're like extreme or whatever. Hey, look, this other person says they're an ally. Let's go over there and be toxic. Ha ha ha. Let's get a reaction video. And it's a whole like there is a content type that is sending your audience to someone else's channel to be toxic as hell, and then getting a reaction to be like, haha, we got them all upset. And meanwhile, person's like, I'm just trying to have a good time with my community. I'm trying to like entertain the 100 or 200 or whatever number of people here. And this person's, their entire point is just ruin everyone's day. That person shouldn't be allowed to have a platform. That's my stance on it. It should simply be that, hey, you get caught doing that kind of thing, your channel is banned, and anyone who participates in that is also banned. Because what good does that do? It's just so awful. It's just toxic behavior, and I'm not okay with it. Anyways, now I've gotten into all that. What I am going to go ahead and do, and I do apologize for getting on a little bit of rant there. What I am going to go ahead and do is we are going to stop the recording.